I bought a Gibson guitar for the brand name, and I might be having second thoughts. This is Gear Profile. Hello folks, my name is Marc Gallagher and welcome to Gear Profile, where I take a look at a piece of gear that I have and love, and I tell its story and why it speaks to me, and of course give it a little play for you. Today we're going to take a look at my newest guitar in this Gibson Les Paul 60s Tribute with P90s, and I have some thoughts. I feel like this video is best suited if you treat it as a part 3. Make sure that you've seen first my Epiphone Les Paul P90 gear profile video and also the direct sound comparison video, because a lot of those same talking points are going to be covered here in this video. The story for this one is relatively simple. It's one where I wanted a guitar with P90s and I found this Epiphone Les Paul Gold Top, 56 Gold Top, and it's really great. And I had no problems with that guitar because it did exactly what I wanted it to do, except be called Gibson. It was called an Epiphone. And I had that voice in my head saying, you need a Gibson. And I went having a look. So when I decided that I wanted to indeed make the upgrade to a Gibson from an Epiphone, I listed my guitar for sale, and the intent was very much, as soon as I sell this, immediately go and buy another. I did speak with a few marketplace sellers if they wanted to trade, and none of them were having it, which is absolutely fine. It was like, okay, fine, I'll get back to you once I've sold the Epiphone. And then I found one seller in Stoke who had a black Gibson Les Paul with hard case, and he offered it to me without the hard case for £550, which for a Gibson is insane. So I was like, deal, let's do it. And then, you know, it gives me the benefit of, at his house, I A-B'd my Les Paul against his, and then decided, yeah, I think I'll take it. And then I've done a video in which I've done direct sound comparisons between my Epiphone and my Gibson. So why the second thoughts? Let me explain. The specs with this guitar is that it is a 60s tribute, so it's kind of modeled after some 60s Les Pauls. Still got a all mahogany body, no binding because it's a tribute. It is like 2 P90s what the Les Paul Studio is to humbuckers. It is that kind of stripped back but still very functional, still sounding awesome aesthetic. I'm not going to lie to you, my favourite part about this guitar is that it matches this one. This Les Paul Studio is my favourite guitar. This is from 1991. I've already done a full video on why I love this guitar. So the fact that I was able to get a Les Paul with P90s that matched, I think that's really, really cool. Where the specs get a little bit more interesting is looking at the mods that the previous seller has made. So, previous seller, or at least a previous seller, this has gone through several different people's hands, did the choice to change the pickguard and the pickup covers from cream to black, just to get it matching with the rest of the body. Right now, I'm unsure if the black is like a change of pickups entirely, or if it's just a change of the pickup covers. Right now, I don't know, and it's something I'm hoping to do a bit more digging into. Other mods involve changing the tuners, so instead of the stock silver Gibson Grover ones, they've changed it to some gold Clouson tuners. So the interesting thing for me is that he's changed the tuners, probably changed them for a reason, but also the fact that he's changed it to these gold ones, but not necessarily changed the tailpiece and the bridge to match, and that irks me a little bit. So in order to fix this, I could go one of two directions. Either I change the tuners to something silver or nickel so that it matches my Les Paul Studio. My Les Paul Studio is all silver hardware. Or alternatively, I can just embrace, let this be gold and be like, okay, he's changed it for a reason, it's an upgrade, and then just change the bridge and tailpiece to match. And then, yes, these match, but they don't have to look exactly the same. So what that means is I could have this one be the Gibson Gold, and this could be the Studio Silver, or something like that, but less shit. So right now I have ordered a set of Tone Pros, the bridge and the tailpiece in gold. It was a bit of a nightmare to track it down because of the trying to find imperial measurements, because some of the other manufacturers were using metric based stuff. Initially I had my reservations on, does it matter? Is it just a piece of metal? But actually there's a bit more to it in terms of like the construction and the quality of bridges and hardware parts. So I decided to bite the bullet, even if it is at a little bit of an expense. And And then when those come, beautiful. I've got some nice all gold hardware. I believe the previous seller also changed out the sort of switch from like a silver ring to a gold one. And also, speaking of rings, this guitar is also missing the ring that tells you if you are on the rhythm pickup or on the treble pickup, and I'd like that, so I'm gonna get one of those as well. And then probably the most telling mod of this guitar is the relic job that honestly I don't really love. In and amongst the case candy that came with this guitar, the previous seller also showed me a photo of what the guitar looked like before. I'm assuming it was on like the luthier or the Guitar Tech's workbench. And I kind of wish I had that guitar as opposed to this one. So let's talk about the relic job then. I don't love the relic job because I don't like relics anyway on my guitars, because I either like my guitars to be new and to look it, or I accept that I'm buying a used guitar and they should have the natural dinks that come with being used. I don't like having a relic guitar where it's been artificially aged. I think it's a bit cheating, and also I don't like this grazing here because I feel like honestly no amount of forearm sweat is ever going to wear away the paint like this. That's the most egregious part of the relic job, but it's also got some wear on the sides, and I don't mind this because this is like the kind of natural thing that you would get when you lean your guitar against surfaces. I don't mind that, that looks a bit more natural. Additionally, we've got some wear on the back of the neck. In terms of how it looks, I'm not a fan. However, in terms of how it feels, I've not spent enough time playing it to properly form an opinion. But here's my other issue when it comes to relics. This guitar was made in 2016, so at time of recording, this guitar is about 9 years old and it's been aged to look like something decades older. This guitar, on the other hand, is 1991, so this is 34 years old, and honestly, it has nowhere near the same amount of aging and wear and stuff that you would expect to find. Granted, I've not been out gigging this guitar for 34 years, hell, I'm not even 34 years old, but the fact that this guitar does not have any form of forearm sweat induced wear on the paint, because that doesn't really happen. It's got some dings around the side, and those are like the natural things that come with my natural usage of this guitar. You've also got this little bit of wear naturally of the paint, but you also got, most tellingly, the headstock break. You know, these are battle scars. This is stolen valor. So that's my biggest issue when it comes to this guitar in terms of its relic job. This just looks unnatural. This does not look like how I would have this guitar when I am playing it. I just don't think there's any amount of forearm sweat that would cause this kind of sanding. And I know some people like the look and the feel of relic guitars. I just would prefer to make those dings myself, or at least know that those dings have occurred naturally through normal use and not through, I'm guessing, just taking a load of sandpaper to this. But hey, it's a Gibson for £550, so who am I to argue? I'm not really going to spend much time playing and demonstrating the sound of this guitar in this video because I feel like I've done enough of that in the previous video where I looked at the sound directly compared to the Epiphone. In that, I concluded that I generally prefer the bridge pickup on the Gibson but the neck pickup on the Epiphone. Generally, I found the Epiphone was really suited to clean and jazz, but this one interacts a bit more with overdrive in a more satisfying way, even if it's not quite as punchy and trebly. But there are still some issues with this guitar, and I think that's the fault of whoever set this up and modified it for the previous seller. Namely, in terms of the pickups, the middle position, I found that to sound a bit out of phase, which hopefully that's just a case of swapping a couple wires around and then you're all sorted. The bridge pickup, on the other hand, that's got some issues where I'm getting really low output unless I sort of spend a bit of time with the switch. I think maybe it's just a case of replacing the switch. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario is that the bridge pickup has a dead short and then it needs replacing. And knowing me, I don't want mismatched pickups, so I need to replace it with a new set of P90s, which is some extra expense. Again, I don't know what pickups are in this. I don't know if it's a case of swapping out new pickups or if it's just a case of taking the cream pickup covers off and then putting these black ones on. I'm not really sure. But if it's the worst case scenario where the pickup, it just has a dead short and I'm going to need to buy a new set, that's not ideal. And then also while I'm there, I can take a look at some of the wiring inside here. There are a couple of tonal mods that I'm definitely going to make in the form of treble bleeds and also the series mod. On my Epiphone, I did the same thing. I've demonstrated why I like the sound of a treble bleed, and that's kind of a thing I want to transfer over into this same thing. I also want to have a series mode being toggleable for the... Is toggleable a word? I want to have series mode where you can enable it through a push-pull pot and get both of these pickups in series as like an extra boost and turning it into a big humbucker. I think that'd be quite satisfying. So in terms of my second thoughts, I'm kind of thinking, have I really saved that much money? Yes, I bought this guitar for £550 and I took it home, and that's great. However, I have had to, through either reasons of my own or just desires of my own, I've spent about £100 on a new bridge and tailpiece so that it matches the gold tuners. I am going to spend some money on fixing the switch, maybe replacing it, on doing the treble bleed and series mod. I would have done that anyway, to be honest. I might have to spend some money fixing either the phasing issue for the middle position, or I might have to replace pickups. So I'm going to do this. Thankfully, my tech's custom application is really great and his prices have always been really great to me. So I'm not too worried about it, but when I think of the other listings that I saw, which were £750, £800, that sort of region, maybe I would have been more satisfied had I have gone through with that and then spent the time going, great, I've spent that extra money compared to this, but I know that I don't need to make any changes to it. Compared to this, where I bought it and then I need to spend a bunch of stuff to get it to be where I want it to be. So yes, I bought a Gibson Les Paul mainly because of the brand name of having a Gibson Les Paul. Right now, is this guitar overall better than my Epiphone? No. But will it be? That's a different story for a different time. And honestly, I'm excited to spend some time with this guitar and getting it to unleash its full potential. Okay, to be fair, because this guitar has already been modded and reliced and what have you, I don't feel as precious about doing mods to this one as I might have done for other Gibsons. There are still things, like I said, that I want to change. As for the relic, I feel like I might get some black paint on this because it's annoying me right now, but maybe my opinion will change as I spend more time with this guitar. But it's also really cool that I've got two Gibson Les Pauls that match. These two Les Pauls are basically like brothers, and like my actual brothers, I have a clear favourite. And in the meantime, I look forward to seeing what I can do with the lesser favourite brother and seeing if I can get that to unlock its full potential. My name's Marc Gallagher and this has been Gear Profile, a very different gear profile to the standard format for it, but it's one that I still think you might find interesting. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did I do the right thing by getting this guitar, or should I have maybe waited out and got something else that might not have matched my Gibson but also might have been a bit more satisfying immediately? Let me know. You can follow me on your favorite social media at Marc Gallagher Music, and consider supporting me on Patreon so I make better buying decisions in the future. But until then, my name's Marc Gallagher. Like the video if you want, share if you feel compelled to, and follow me on places. I'll catch you down the road.